One of the more popular questions that we get here at Joy Organics, and a question that is somewhat difficult for us to respond to, is, will your product cause me to fail a drug test? Now, the reason I say it's somewhat difficult to respond to is because if somebody was to go to any major drug chain and buy one of the over-the-counter drug kits, most of those can't distinguish the difference between CBD and THC. So people might buy a drug testing kit in a store and fail a drug test because it just simply is not sophisticated enough to determine the difference between a CBD molecule and a THC molecule. This was something that we learned when we started Joy Organics, when we had somebody that said they went and bought a kit and they failed a drug test, and then we reached out to that manufacturer and they educated us on the fact that their kits aren't designed to distinguish the difference between cannabinoids, and we have since heard that from others, and again, we've contacted those manufacturers who've all told us the same thing. The other reason why people could fail a drug test is if that drug test is being done in a lab that has cross-contamination. Here at Joy Organics, we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in testing, and believe it or not, we've had our test come back where it shows some ingredient that is like not in hemp, it's not in any ingredient in our products. We're like, how did it test positive for that? So what do? We then send it off to another lab that tests it and it doesn't show that ingredient. And so one of the things right now in the industry, as much as the CBD industry is the wild, wild west, so is the lab industry. Even as of the time of this recording, we are still struggling to find labs that will produce consistent results, and we consistently see cross-contamination in labs. I mean, we've had products that have shown up positive for THC, and we're like, we know this has no THC in it. We tested the raw oil, it had no THC in it. How can the finished product have THC in it? So again, we send it off to another ISO certified lab who comes back and says, yes, there is no THC detectable in your product. So we just don't guarantee people here at Joy Organics that you will not fail a drug test. It's just something that we're just not willing to take the risk to say. But I will tell you this, and that is, if you were to Google Weed 5, Sanjay Gupta, he did a show. And on that, really kind of a documentary on CBD, he indicated that if you're taking a full spectrum product with the THC, that after 5 days of usage, you could test positive for THC. Now, testing positive for THC and failing a drug test are two different things. You could test positive for THC, but it could be below the levels that, that would be allowed by the sports organization or the employer. Our products are THC free, but that does not mean there is no THC in them. Just like something that is gluten-free doesn't mean there's no gluten in it. Something that's dairy-free doesn't mean there's no dairy in it. Something that's sugar-free doesn't mean there's no sugar in it. It just means that the level of sugar or gluten or dairy is at such a low level that they're allowed to call them dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free. In the case of our product, the amount per billion is so small that we then call it THC free. So just so you know, because our products are THC free doesn't mean there's absolutely zero THC in them. The only products in the marketplace that would be CBD products with absolutely no THC would be a CBD isolate. But still, even if we were selling CBD isolates, I would not guarantee anybody that they would not fail a drug test even with a CBD isolate. So anyhow, hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about the challenges associated with drug testing, and the safest thing to do is just to say we do not guarantee that anybody will not fail a drug test taking any of our products. We just simply, as a company, will not make that guarantee or that assurance.